anybody said. Oh, I'm lucky.
You know, lots of classic rock guys put together a record these days, and it's kind of a vanity thing because they've got a lifetime of experience and talent. They're mature. They have something to say. But I don't know if I've heard one this year as incredible as Leslie West's brand new CD. It's called Still Climbing. And if you know anything about Leslie, you know he lost a leg. He had that amputated. So the Still Climbing talks about not giving up on your goals and going for it. You know that back in 1969, when his group Mountain released the classic recording Climbing, they also played at Woodstock. Leslie has several friends, including Johnny Winter, Dee Snider, and Johnny Lang on this album. And guess who co-wrote the songs? Well, some of them anyway. His wife, Jenny. Leslie West, welcome to the Bob Rivers Show. How are you, sir?
How you doing, guys? Now, let me ask you a question. Was it Bob, Ted, Carol, and Alice you had there, 4 guys?
No.
That's Alice over there.
Yeah.
It's Bob, Spike, and Joe, and Jody is the token female.
Oh, there you go. Well, how are you guys?
And by token, I mean she smokes a lot of pot.
It's true.
Oh, boy.
Token with an eye.
Yeah, well, this is Washington. Hey, Leslie, how are you?
Good. You might want to rethink that smoking business. That's how I lost my leg.
Now, that was tobacco or pot, you think?
Well, smoke.
Smoke. It was smoke.
I had cancer. Well, I had cancer 7 years ago. I stopped smoking, but when you smoke, it's like, according to my doctor, it's like taking rocks and throwing them at your feet, and arteries and circulation and stuff. But I unfortunately found out too late. But it's helped my voice now. I can definitely tell.
Yeah, it's too bad they didn't think of putting tobacco in pie and cookies and brownies.
No, I don't know what they thought of.
Yeah. So Leslie, all right.
I was lucky they caught the cancer before it reached the wall. If it reaches the wall of your bladder, you're really screwed.
Then you're done. Yeah. Well, Leslie, we're happy too. I got to ask you about this album. I mean, this isn't fooling around. This music, it's really good, and we have only played one track so far. Joe has listened to the whole thing. It's monstrous. How did you record this at a big studio or a home studio? You can record anywhere these days, right?
Yeah, you can. No, I recorded at a studio right here in New Jersey, Intermedia Post in Paramus. And what we did was my engineer and co-producer, Mike Goldberg, recorded all the stuff. Took about a year from last June to this June. And I did the tracks and the music and the overdubs and all that. And the guest player, Mark Tremonti's on the first cut, Dying Since the Day I Was Born. And on Busted, Disgusted, or Dead that you just played, Johnny Winter's playing slide in the middle with me. Johnny Lang's on it, and Dee Snider sang a version of Feeling Good with Me. But what we did after we finished recording it, we had Mike Frazier mix it in Vancouver. Mike Frazier's mixed Metallica, all Joe Satriani stuff, Aerosmith, AC/DC. He's mixed everybody. So giving it to somebody with a fresh pair of ears that wasn't day in the day-to-day grinding, overdubbing and recording and writing, and giving it to somebody like that, when I got the album back all mixed, I said, man, I think I may have found a new way to record. There's too much to try to produce it, write it, play it, and then you're going to now mix it.
Right. So you have an incredible team. You have a team of people, first off, who admire you. Many musicians do, and whom you admire. And then you are willing to let go of it to a sense and bring someone really skilled in to mix it. The part that I found fun, and by the way, the liner notes are worth the price of. You can download it on iTunes, I assume. But will you get the liner notes? I don't know if you will.
I hope so.
Okay, but the liner notes are you telling a personal story. And one of the coolest things about it is that your wife, Jenny, co-wrote some songs with you. And you talk about how she typically wouldn't want credit, but now she's decided, she wants to songwriting credit.
Yeah, she wrote a song on the last album, Unusual Suspects, that Slash played on with me called Mudflat Mama. She writes great lyrics.
So she brings you a song.
Want to get into.
She brings you a song called Mudflat Mama.
like you know what a mud flap girl is, right?
I don't. Well,
truck,
I know
you
what
see
a
'em
mud flap is, and I know there are beautiful women on them sometimes.
That's
That's
it.
what it is.
Well, yeah, well, that's what it looked like.
Okay,
In
sure.
fact, on one of my guitars, I have a stainless steel mud flap girl engraved in the neck.
Yeah.
So she wrote some really great lyrics, and had Slash play on it with me, and she was sending me lyrics on my iPad in the morning. I wake up in iCloud, these lyrics would magically appear.
Right.
And I'd say, what the fuck? And she was writing them and sending them to me. We don't write where we're sitting right in a room. I have a guitar or piano, and she's, writing. She just sends it to me, and then, I'll have a track that this one might work well over, or I write a track when I hear a certain lyric. And she did a great job, but I had a bad thought in my head because Felix Pappalardi, the bass player and producer of Mountain, he used to write with his wife, and she shot him with a gun he gave her. So
Yeah, she killed him, didn't she?
she killed him
Yeah.
dead. And she beat the rap. And 1-7, she got the negligent homicide. She said he was giving her a gun lesson. Now, Felix was actually a marksman in the war, in the Army, and he had all kinds of medals and stuff. He wasn't giving her a gun lesson. He was cheating on her, and she came home and told him to get out. He says, "It's my house," and she shot him point blank in the neck with a Derringer.
That's the answer to that.
So you're saying it's not always a great idea to work with your wife?
No, I'm saying it's not a good idea to give a gun to your wife.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Or maybe the other stuff, too.
Or maybe not cheating on her, too, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you got a gun, you better be prepared to use it.
Wow.
So
So,
very dangerous. So I didn't have a good thought going in, but you know what? The songs are good, and we don't own any firearms.
I love this guy.
that is perfect. Leslie West of Mountain and his CD, Still Climbing. Leslie, we're going to be playing some cuts from this CD for a while. We're going to hot cut it for everybody. It's incredible. What's the next one you got queued up there, Pedro?
Well, the one we played at the very beginning of the show today, the main one, Dying Since the Day I Was Born.
Dying Since the Day I Was
Yeah.
Born. Let's listen to a second of that.
Mark
here.
Tremonti from Creed plays incredible solo in the middle with me. We trade off, and he plays the ride out. He's
All right, here we go. Here's a little of this.
hey, listen, you in Seattle?
I've been dying since the day I was born. Can't remember where I went wrong.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. Hey, do you do any, like, folk ballads?
Yeah, there's a ballad on there called Tales of Woe.
Okay.
I've had a rough couple of years, and it's not a pity party song, but it's a really pretty ballad about, what I've been going through and what's sort of taken place in my life.
It really is. It's cut 5, and I listened to this, and it's beautiful music.
Here we go. A little more Leslie West.
Don't presume to know me when you haven't got a clue. They say I'm the lucky one when you never walk a mile in my shoe. When all hope outweighs you down and things get so low, these are my tales of woe.
Wow, walk a mile in my shoe. You're right. You're talking about it. Wow.
Yeah, there you go. It should have been shoes, right?
Yeah, we caught that.
Love that.
Good for you.
Walk a mile in my shoe and don't buy your wife a gun.
Right.
Are you guys in Seattle right now?
Yeah, we are.
Well, one of the greatest stories I have is staying at the Edgewater Hyatt House in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody would fish from the balconies trying to get sharks.
So did the Beatles, yes.
Well, so what I did was I wasn't buying the rubber worms they sold in the gift shop. Being of Jewish persuasion, I went down to the wharf and I bought some locks.
Ah.
$28 an ounce. So,
You were going to catch a fish.
well, I was a shark. Would you want rubber worms or you want some locks?
Good
Yeah.
locks, you betcha.
So I had 6 lines tied to my balcony. And we were playing with Sammy Hagar that night. And went out to the show. I had 6 lines out with locks on. And I come back. And the guy upstairs in the balcony above me, he's yelling, "Hey, man, look at your lines. They're all out." I started pulling them in. I had 6 sharks on each line.
Wow.
That's
Put him in the bathtub. And Felix, you know, he had a house in Nantucket. He thought he was like the big fisherman in the group. He said, "Yeah." He said, "You should have seen the one I had on my line that got away." I said, "Come here a second." I opened the bathtub and I showed him I had 6 sharks in the tub. He says, "Holy shit." I couldn't believe it. So what I did was I put them on a room service table.
Yeah.
And put the silver top on it, and I knocked on the organ player's door Steve Knight. And he says, "Who is it?" I said, "Room service." And, you know, he there was never a free meal he wouldn't take. So he opened the door, and I walked that way. He didn't see it was me. But I heard him scream, man, when he lifted up the tops of those silver chafing tops, whatever they put on. And I gave him 6 sharks to eat, but I had a really great time. I knew how to amuse myself at the Edgewater Highlands.
Yeah.
There you
A
go.
good plug for the Edgewater and wonderful fishing tips for the people who fish in the
We need-
Northwest.
Fellas, thanks a lot. I appreciate your good words and kind words, and I hope you enjoy the album.
All right. Well, we've enjoyed it so far, and Joe listened to the whole thing, and the entire thing, he says, is amazing.
Yeah, it's-
Congratulations on great work.
Thanks a lot.
Take care, Leslie West. We're right back.